So welcome to the August Basic Sampler here at Close to Home in Southington. So you need to bring in your completed July Basic block beginning Saturday, August 17th through the end of August, Saturday, August 31st, to get your August kit free. So make sure you bring in your July block. We have a Bernina Serger event happening at all 3 of our Close to Home locations. You can sign up and use the top of the line Bernina 890L Sergers. Sign-ups can be at Close to Home in Southington for October 3rd, Glastonbury for October 4th, or the event in Orange on October 5th. The fee for that is $99. An email is coming out with some great sales, 25% off fabric, stabilizers, notions, much, much more. And that is going to be happening between August 15th and the 24th. So make sure you come in for our sales. Also in that email, great low prices on new and used machine. Again, watch your emails. All right, so the August Basic blocks is card tricks. Very simple for a nice basic block. It's a half square triangle units. We also have quarter square triangles and a combination of half square and quarter square. All right, so let's go over to the cutting. We're looking at all of the colors fabrics, the black seed, white seed, feathers, and the sable, all 4 of those pieces. You will get a 5 1/4 square, cut on the diagonal twice, and you will only use 2. You can discard the other 2 quarter squares. Triangles. Also from the color fabrics, you're getting 1 square at 4 7/8 cut on the diagonal once, and then down to the white, a 5 1/4. We're going to need all 4 quarter squares here, cut on the diagonal twice, the 4 7/8 cut, of course, on the diagonal once. So real easy, but you really should starch your fabrics before you begin. Any fabrics that are in your kit, you want to give them a nice coating of best press and then a nice dry iron to kind of crisp up your fabrics. It helps with the bias on the quarter square triangles and the half square triangles so that they don't bend too much out of shape or fray on you. So let's cut first, just real simple cutting, and then we'll get into some sewing. So I've already put the best press on my kit. I have all 4 pieces of the card tricks, each of the colors of the cards, and then on the bottom I have the long white piece. So I'm going to kind of wrap these up and put these, get a nice fresh edge on here. You can see that my ruler is only 12 1/2. I'm definitely going to have to fold this, which helps use the 12 1/2 inch ruler. All I have to do is put the fold on a line, and I'm going to cut a nice fresh edge off of this. All right. I'm going to turn the whole stack around. Now there's a lot of layers here. If you don't want to do all your layers at once, it's perfectly fine, but I have a brand new blade in my rotary cutter, so it works out really well. The first cut I'm going to do is the largest, which is 5 1/4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 1/4. So we want to make sure that we measure over 5 1/4 all the way down that nice fresh edge that we cut. So once we're happy with that, go ahead and trim the whole stack at 5 1/4. Okay. The next thing we want to do is get our 5 1/4 out of the end. So I'm going to line up any line on my ruler along the top of my strip and give myself 2 really good 90-degree angles. And I'm just going to slide my ruler again, looking for that 5 1/4 and lining it up along the top, the 5 1/4 mark, all the way down that fresh cut and across the 5 1/4 mark here. It could be anywhere, it's just still going to be 5 1/4. Okay. Now before I go unfolding these or separating these, I want to make sure that I do cut these on the diagonal twice. So line those right up into the corner, and if you're lined up properly, the 45-degree line on your ruler is going to come right to the corner of your square, which makes that come out the top of your square. Okay, before I pick it up, again, I want to just go ahead, cut this on the diagonal. If I want, I can move this black line down to the corner, line it up, and trim it again. Okay. Now remember, we're only using 2 sets of these. We're going to use all the whites, so let me take the whites out. And we're going to discard, keep these, keep these, keep this one, get rid of that one. Keep the white and get rid of that one. From what's left, we're going to cut a 4 7/8. So again, look at your ruler, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're going to go all the way out to the 7/8 mark, which is the 1/8 before 5. And as long as you're lined up, you should get a square. So that's my 4 7/8, and we're only, of course it's 5 1/2 or 5 1/4 wide, so we got to go this way also. So we're going to measure over 4 7/8, all the way down, all the way across. We're good to go. I have my square, and we want to cut this on the diagonal once. Again, don't forget I have all 4 colors plus my white. And a new blade, which is very helpful. So I'll take my white out. And then we have 1 left, 4 7/8. I have a nice fresh edge here, so I'm going to go 4 7/8 there. Of course, it's still 5 1/4, so we got to get this down to 4 7/8. Always start with the bigger size and work your way to the smaller. And one last cut is to cut this on the diagonal. This doesn't look, it's all right. All right. All right, so we're ready. The first thing we want to do is take our 4 7/8 inch half triangles here, and we're going to pair them up. Each of these is going to get paired up with our 4 7/8 inch white, and we're just going to make half square triangles. So, sorry, what I've done is I've already gone ahead and made our 4 units, and these are with the 4 7/8 cut on the diagonal once. Now I still have another one of these to use. All right, which is in my pile here. Okay, so half squares. The next thing we want to do is start working on our units that are the quarter squares with the white, and then we're going to add this one. So let's bring these over. I'm all set on cutting. And we're just going to go ahead and lay these out according to the picture. Again, it doesn't matter which way, but I have the longest base at the bottom. And then I'm going to make sure my white, the longest base of my triangle, is up the right-hand side. If we got to follow the pictures really, really closely so that all of our cards come out correct. All right, so once we have our quarter squares lined up with the right sides of the white, we're just going to go ahead and sew these together. So I'll do a couple, but I have a couple already done, just to speed up the process just a little bit. And I do like to sew from the 90-degree triangle straight down to the 45. Nice 1/4 inch seam allowance. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and sew all these together. And we're going to press these toward the color. So when we're pressing toward away from the white or toward the color fabric, we want the color fabric to be on top. Because when we press, we're going to press it in that direction. So the seam is going that way. All right, so we're going to sew those, and we're going to press, and we're going to have 4 of these. Nice little bit of heat. I still have a nice straight line going down there. All right. You with me so far? All right. So now that we have all these sewn, which I've already done, we'll put those aside. I have my black seed, my white seed, my feather, which is underneath it. There we are. All right, so we just did that step, sewing the white 1/4 triangles onto each of the color triangles. So now the tricky part is each of these 4 7/8 that got cut on the diagonal, they get to be put in a very specific part of these 1/4 squares. So we have to line them up and go by the pattern. So the black seed gets the feather. I know this sounds very complicated, but it's so easy and you'll love how it comes out. Black seed goes with the feather. Okay. The white seed, and it's all in your directions, spelled out very carefully. The white seed goes with the large black seed. The feather 1/4 goes with the sable half, and the sable 1/4 goes with the white seed. Okay, and again, spelled out very easily. So what we're going to do is we're going to sew all these together. I have my 2 half triangles. We're going to match up the top, match the corner, and we're going to sew a 1/4 inch all the way down to make it a kind of a combination half square, 1/4 square. I don't know what you call it. But just by getting, looking at your directions, watching the video a few times, you should be able to get all these in the right location. So we'll do another one. Lining up the points, lining up the 90-degree corners. They should theoretically be the same size. Okay, 2 more. One. And then all we have, so now we have our corners, which are our half squares. We have our north, south, east, west, which is a half square with a 1/4 square. Oops. And the last one to do is our center. So again, it makes a big difference which way all these go. So we're going to press these. Toward the large triangle. All right, so if I'm pressing toward the large triangle is on top, and I want to make sure I don't flip either of these little edges right here, that they come out nice and flat. And a little heat. And the best press really does help to keep these from distorting a little bit. All right, so we have these 4 units. And what we're going to do with these is trim off all of our dog ears. So as soon as you're done with those units, you can just go ahead and give these a little snip off. This will help reduce a little bit of the bulk on all those as well. Okay, and then the last thing to do is this quarter square triangle 4-inch block. All right, so we're going to take our sable and our white seed and our feathers and our black seed. So I even have to look at the pictures. So with this one's here and the sable and the white seed like this. Really important that this is not like that. That's exactly how you see it and how the directions show you. Otherwise your card tricks are going to be a trick, all right. All right, so let's go ahead, just like we did the other ones when we started with the whites, we're going to go from the 90 degree down to the 45. Not many pieces, but easy enough to get a little mixed up. Okay, we'll take this last one, which is the black seed and the feather, exactly the way I laid it out, going from the 90 down to the 45. Okay. This one we're going to press toward the feathers, so feathers are up, and this one we're going to press toward the white seed, so the white seed is up. That's the way our little intersection is going to lock. All right, so white seed on top, press toward the white seed. Feathers on top, I'm going to press toward the feathers. Okay. Now that I have these 2 units, I'm going to go ahead and put them together into a quarter square. Quarter square. Just quarter square. Thought it was quarter square, something. Quarter square. And again, they should lay right on top of each other. We're going to lock our intersection in the middle. Because the seam allowances are now going in opposite directions, it's easy to lock our pieces. Okay. Go ahead and give this a press open. We're going to trim our dog ears, and then we're going to put our block together. Last thing we want to do is make sure our points are there. All right, so let's just lay this out. We don't have to sew it tonight, but let's lay it out and make sure everything's the right way. Let's clean that up a little. I need my half squares. Okay, so the half squares go in the corners. So we have the black seed, we have the white seed. It's easier just to do the corners first. We have the feather and the sable. All right. Now when we're working with these, we have the black seed. Oops, sorry. The black seed, yes, touching the white seed, and this white seed is now touching that one. And this one is now over to the feather, and the feather is now touching that. So they can only go one way. And the finishing touch is our centerpiece here, which is going to connect all 4 of our card tricks. So when we sew these together, make sure we trim away our dog ears and have that nice 1/4 of an inch so we don't lose any of our points. That'll look amazing, and I think you guys can do it. It's definitely a basic block, and it's been around forever, and I think you can make lots of these in different colors. So come on in, make sure you bring your July block to get this kit free. If you have any questions, of course, come on into Close to Home, read your email, and come on in for the sale. Thanks for watching.